Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMatches.com with match number 3 with our budget Shamans. Yes, we'd love to keep this hand. This is about ideal. No Burning-Tree Emissary opening hand, which I think would make this a little bit better than the Flamekin Harbinger. Because that would allow us to turn to Burning-Tree into Wolf-Skull Shaman. But I think this is fine because we'll guarantee we get a land or a Rage Forger on the top of our library. Still thinking I want one of the Evoke guy that gets +2/+0 and haste to a creature. I think that's... I want to combo that off with Wild Beastmaster. Give him +2/+0 and haste. And then everything +3/+3. Yeah, we're going to put one in. I can't put one in now. In the middle of league, you can't mess with it. Ew. Glistener Elf Infect, we might not be quick enough. Good news is he does a lot of damage to himself. And we can just go nuts with damage. Eternal Witness is okay. Gives us also a blocker with our Flamekin. And we'll go get a Rage. No Banneret, but we'll go Visionary. Maybe Wolf-Skull Shaman, I'm not sure. Like, Blighted Agent is the rough one here. He attacks in, we will block. He'll have to use a pump spell, which is awesome, because we just basically, when he uses the mutagenic growth, oh, he just lets it die. Okay, that's fine. If he has Blighted Agent, though, I hate that card with a passion. We'll bring in Lightning Bolts. Yeah, I think we're just dead. Can't beat a Blighted Agent. I want this. This is my next card on. I'm okay with Glistener Elf sticking around. It's this stupid card. I don't know. Infect is one of those decks, too, that gets off those turn 2 kills. I think it's next on the chopping block. Just because it just wins out of nowhere on turn 2 or turn 3, which I think does break the modern rule. And I'm in the majority of most people. It's just Infect was such a terrible mechanic. No way to get rid of Infect. Like, you can't gain life. And... it just, I did not. I think Marrow regrets it, and a lot of the other designers of Magic the Gathering regret ever printing Infect. But if you are a fan of Infect, I've played in the past. One of my best friends actually plays Infect pretty religiously, and he loves it. So to each his own. Maybe I shouldn't be so critical or judgmental of people's play styles. Anyway, we'll just go ahead. I think the best case scenario we can do is just try to outrace him, and so we need the Wolf-Skull Shaman. But I highly doubt we outrace here. So it's just going to be the Wolf-Skull, and then cry when we lose on turn 3 here. Because they always have it. We have to hope he just doesn't have basically any pump spells in his hand. But he can't main phase something or Groundswell either. Best case we can draw into is actually a Banneret. Oh wow, he's just got a heavy Glistener Elf. So we need the Banneret to be on the top. Oh, wow. And we get it. So we get a Wolf. And that allows us to basically go crazy here. Well, it just gets us an Eternal Witness. But it is Banneret that is the right play into a Visionary, which will draw us a card. I don't like the Flamekin Harbinger, but I think we attack in with the Wolf-Skull Shaman and make him at least block with the Glistener Elf. Wow, he's going to let it go through. Okay. We could actually win next turn with the Rage Forger. Farron Visions. He needs to get up to enough cards in his graveyard for... they become immense. I think at this point I still do just let everything go through. Maybe block with the Wolf because the Wolf is the weakest of creatures here. I don't think we have a dead draw except for another Collected Company. Because if we draw into a land, that's Collected Company. But what we want to do next turn is cast a Rage Forger and attack in for hopefully lethal. So it'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Well, that was good. He just Gitaxian probed. Become Immense is still... he finds Inkmoth Nexus. See if he's got a pump spell. He does not. So we're getting very lucky in that regards. Get another wolf with Eternal Witness. Didn't like Eternal Witness, so what I think I do here is actually Eternal Witness for a Wooded Foothills. And I can cast 2 Rage Forgers next turn, which I think is the right play. So we'll just go Flamekin Harbinger here, get another Rage Forger on top, and if we get 1 on tap, we should win. That's the plan anyway. So I think we swing in with everything because we will have blockers. Except for the Banneret. We need the Banneret to stick around. I could go get a Rage Forger right now. Is that actually... We can attack in for 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He'd have to block, but I still don't think that's the right line of play. 3 off the bat takes him to 8. Now, he won't be able to like chain off like Ataxian Probes or Mutagenic Gross if we put him down to low enough life. So I think I do attacking with Wolf, everything but the Banneret. And I actually could attack in with the Banneret. He'll block the Elvish Visionary, and that's it. Which gets a blocker out of the way for next turn. Goes down to a 7. Crack this first. Go get just a basic forest is fine. Because we have 2 red sources. And then next turn, if he does not kill me here with Infect, we win. But I highly doubt we go another turn. Yeah, he just drops an Inkmoth, Groundswell, and if he has any other Become Immense or Pump spell, that is lethal. Just double Groundswell actually gets the job done. All right, 1 more turn though and we would have had it. We'll bring in... Reclamation Sages are okay. Ancient Grudges are okay. They both take care of Lightning Bolts. I don't think we bring in like Leaf. We just have to bring in Lightning Bolts. That's our only hope. The Burning-Tree Shaman, he does have some activated abilities, but I think this card's just the slowest. I think that it is the cut is the Burning-Tree Shaman. It does make it so he uses fetch lands to take 2. If he uses the Inkmoth Nexus, it will take 1. But as far as Collected Company, just seems better than Burning-Tree Shaman. And at this point, I don't think I care about Reclamation Sage, as it does come in at sorcery speed. Ancient Grudge, I could make the argument, but I want to keep my creature count as high as possible. So I think that we just keep as is. Yes, we like to play first. This, unfortunately, cannot keep. We have to mulligan it. And we will keep this. It's not the greatest. We have a Lightning Bolt. We need a red source. Opponent does keep it. I think we put Visionary on bottom. Because we do need that red source. Hopefully it's not a turn 1 Glistener Elf. It is a turn 1 Glistener Elf. Oh, Noble Hierarch. Okay. Not as bad. Collected Company, we don't want it at the moment. But the Shaman will be decent. Bosk Banneret would be great. I'd actually like to find a Foothill first. Wooded Foothills would be the best draw because we can Eternal Witness it back. The Blighted Agent, though, I don't think it's going to be possible for us to beat again. We need... Visionary's better than nothing. We need to find a red source here, though. Not a red source. For the lightning bolt, I think we're dead next turn. Probably will be a turn 2 kill with the Hierarch Blighted Agent. There's very few things that can stop that. So there's the Groundswell. And Mutagenic Growth. And Mutagenic Growth. And this is what I'm talking about with Infect. It completely goes against the turn 2 rule in Modern. Very consistent, in my opinion, for this to happen. Or this is turn 3, actually. But still, it goes against the turn 4 rule. And especially when there's an unblockable. Just so much. You can make the case that, yes, a card like Pyroclasm or Lightning Bolt or something like that could have really punished it. But I don't know. I agree with Wizards' rule with turn 2, turn 3s. Trying to be stopped as much as possible. And someone should do statistics on Infect, because I do believe that it happens quite a bit. And same with Crystal Shoal. There's 2 decks that are very capable of those turn 2, turn 3s. And I think these are the last really 2 that exist in Modern. You can make the argument for like Kiln Fiend, and certain burn draws can do the same. But anyway, we'll stop playing. We'll go on to the next match. This is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with the wrap-up video for this week's episode, Playing on a Budget. This is not the budget list I have in front of you. This is going to be my modified, non-budget Shamans deck that I am going to try to play for this week's episode of the Rogues Alley. So you'll see a greater deck tech on this when I get around to that video series. But I thought the deck performed pretty well. It did great versus kind of the mid-range Abzan, Eldrazi type strategies. We lost to Infect, which those are some pretty crazy draws with Infect. Well, the game 2 draw, of course, was really, really good with Infect. And Living End, man, oh man, did they have our number. I think that there's a few routes we can go. I don't quite feel like Living End is worth trying to dedicate a slot, a sideboard slot against, because I'm still under the impression that it's not a good deck to run right now with all the Relic of Progenitus and all the graveyard hate in the format. I know that Living End can fight through a Relic, but usually just one Relic is all it takes to shut down Living End. There still is, I mean, then Tron has access to relics. You'll see Merfolk run relics every now and again, especially when they think that Living End is an issue. And then the Eldrazi, which I expect to be everywhere. And when I mean everywhere with Oath of the Gatewatch, that there's going to be main-boarded relics and Bajuka Bogs and just a lot of exile-type cards that is just going to really mess up Living End. So we could go the Shaman that makes him shuffle libraries to Centaur Shaman. Let me find that really quickly. And don't get me wrong, I love Living End. It's one of my go-to decks. I don't think it's the right time to play it. It's called Loaming Shaman. When Loaming Shaman enters the battlefield, target player shuffles any number of target cards from his or graveyard into his library. So you just make them shuffle them back in. It comes in on turn 3 when the opponent is least cycled through a few. And then, too bad this card didn't have flash. I think that's what I'd need if I really wanted to put it in the sideboard. We could put relics in the sideboard as well if we really cared. There is also the relics would hurt ourselves. We could put a Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze does have synergy with both the Rage Forger as well as the Burning-Tree Emissary. So Scavenging Ooze is a card you could put in the sideboard to combat Living End, which we might want to do. I'm not sure. Do we care about the affinity more with the Reclamation Sage and Ancient Grudges? Or let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take out Ancient Grudge and put 2 Scavenging Oozes. Because the Ancient Grudge I would want to bring in versus Affinity. I think that we have a slightly okay matchup versus Affinity just because we can keep up tempo with them. And this will give us some hate versus the Living End decks. I've cut down the Burning-Tree Shaman just to 2 of. They are good in specific decks, but I think if you're going to include Burning-Tree Shaman, we'd want to go as aggressive as possible. And this is more of a combo pot. Well, this is still aggressive, but it just seemed to be one of the weaker cards. We still have one in the sideboard, though, we can bring in. So against the other matchups, against Infect, we're just going to have to just hope that... I cut all the lightning bolts completely. We're just going to have to hope that Infect, we can outrace them, which is something that aggro decks can do. Especially a deck like this is capable of killing on turn 4, I believe, is the quickest we can kill with the Rage Forger. The Fulminator Mages can give us some... And Scavenging Ooze, I guess, to a point, can give us some play versus Infect. And Reclamation Sage can also get rid of a Spell Sky. We can bring that again against Infect. Fulminator Mage with the Inkmoth Nexus and any sort of the basic lands is fine. I still want the Shusher as a 1-of in the sideboard, even though with this version of the deck, we've put in 4 Caverns of Souls. And now I'm going to try out Aether Vial. I'm going to try the 1 Inner Flame Acolyte, which we talked about as a way to be able to tutor it up with Flamekin Harbinger. We might want to go up in the Flamekin Harbinger count to grab the Rage Forgers. Still like the 2 of Wild Beastmasters, especially with Aether Vials. And Nantuko Shaman, that's another card I want to talk about. With Aether Vial, if you run a full play set of Aether Vials, this card gets a lot better because you can flash in with Aether Vial without having any tapped lands. And then, or even with the Burning-Tree Emissary, you can Vial in a Burning-Tree Emissary, and if you have a Bosk Banneret out, then the Nantuko Shaman can come in with no tapped lands, and you can draw a card off the Shaman. And this card is a 3/2 for 3 mana and drawing you a card, which I think is really huge in those kind of attrition-based wars that you go through in Modern with like Thought Seizes and Kolaghan's Commands and Electrolyzes, things that they're trying to get more value out of their cards than you get out of your cards. And I just think Vial is very strong again versus Counterspell. You can bring you can Vial in like a Rage Forger or an Inner Flame Acolyte as kind of like a combat trick. You can also Vial in a Burning-Tree Emissary to cast a Collected Company in a turn for the excess mana. So we might go up into a full count of Vials if they end up being the right card. They don't have synergy like Goblin Ruinblaster. We are going to put in Blood Moons and Magus in the Moons in the sideboard. Fulminator Mage. Now we have this excellent package versus Tron. Two Blood Moons, 1 Magus the Moon. Magus the Moon because it can get hit with Collected Company. And then the Fulminator Mages and the Ruinblaster. So Tron should be an easier matchup for us to deal with than before. And it really comes down to these Nantuko Shamans over the Burning-Tree Shamans. And I don't know if we want to try that route, if we want to cut like Wild Beastmasters and put in the Shamans with the Vials, but I think Shamans need the 4 count of Vials. I don't think that you justify putting Shamans, especially it's something that doesn't quite work off of like Collected Company or quite work off of anything but the Burning-Tree Emissary, Bosk Banneret, Vial combo. Or I guess you can suspend it on turn 4 and then turn 5. It does come into play with haste and draws you a card, which isn't bad. This is a card we'll have to mess around with the Shaman. But for this next series, I might just run this list. I might mess around with it more before I tape it. But I enjoyed this list a ton. I'm loving I love tribal decks. I love Collected Company decks. I love synergistic decks. I've often described myself as a synergy player, not a combo player. Because when you think of combo is you try to assemble 2 or 3 pieces to absolutely win the game. It combos off. Synergy is usually the pieces work independently of themselves, but start to synergize with the more pieces you get out. So I think that the Shared Animosity might be an interesting card to put in here too. Let's look at Shared Animosity. Enchantment, 3 mana. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each other creature attacking that shares a creature type. I think this is better in actually a Goblin deck. I don't think that we flood the board too much, especially with some of these being wolves that we're going to flood. But Burning-Tree Emissary, for example, we could go first turn Flamekin, tutor up something, second turn the Burning-Tree into Bosk Banneret, and then third turn we can cast and then tack in for +2/+0. Yeah, I just don't think Shared Animosity will quite get there. But I think that this has other room to grow with other Shamans. I just checked out Oath of the Gatewatch, and all the Shamans were in black, which is unfortunate. And so I wish that we would have got a decent Shaman. But the more sets that come out, the better that the tribals get. Eventually, we can start seeing more tribals besides Goblins and Merfolk. And the Elemental Shamans, all those start to get more powerful with subsequent sets. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this list. It's great to be back to playing on a budget. Once we get Oath of the Gatewatch cards, we'll play a lot more playing on a budget. And I will see you there. This has been Kevin with GatherMagic.com. Thanks for watching.